This is the sermon for June 13th, 2021, and I'm talking about Karen Armstrong's book, 12 Steps to a Compassionate Life, and I'm talking a little further about the Romans 12 passage, which is Romans 12, 9 through 16. So first I'll read from Romans 12, and I'm just doing excerpts. Let love be genuine. Hold fast to what is good. Love one another with mutual affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. Be patient in suffering. Persevere in prayer. Extend hospitality to strangers. Bless those who are mean to you. Bless and do not curse them. Live in harmony with one another. And then I'd also like to read from Psalm 92, 1 through 4 and 12 through 15. Psalm 92. It is good to give thanks to the Lord, to sing praises to your name, O Most High, to declare your steadfast love in the morning and your faithfulness by night. To the music of the lute and the harp, to the full-bodied music of strings. For you, beloved God, have made me glad by your work. At the works of your hands I sing for joy. The righteous flourish like the palm tree and grow like a redwood tree in a coastal city. They are planted in God's house. They flourish in the courts of our God. In old age they still produce fruit. They are always green and full of sap, showing that our God is upright, our rock, holy and good. I love that even when they're old, they're always green and full of sap, and they grow like strong, solid trees. So first I want to give just a quick example of living into compassion, living toward a compassionate life. Rosie Espinosa and her husband moved into a house in California, and they started wondering if they made a huge mistake because there were boys with baseball bats hanging out on the corners, and they weren't looking for a pickup game of baseball. And so they wondered, Rosie and her husband wondered if they had made a mistake moving their 8-year-old son into the community. And so the Espinosas started a neighborhood watch group, and then it was painted, a message was painted on their car, "Don't mess with us, keep your mouth shut." And then what they did was they changed their garage into a tutoring place, and they offered homework help and free lemonade. And 16 kids showed up the first day. And they recruited high school kids with good grades to do the tutoring. And so crime went down in that neighborhood, and grades improved. The kids did want to learn. They had to assume that the kids wanted to learn. And then that effort, which was started in 1991, went into other neighborhoods, which is wonderful. And it was going strong in 2018 and 19. I don't know what happened with COVID. But there's an example of compassion being given body and assumptions with it. So last week we looked at the whole Romans passage, Romans 12, 9 through 16. It was too much. And I tried to look at too many steps toward a compassionate life, and that was overwhelming. So I named 4 steps last week instead of the 6 I had hoped to get to. And I used the whole Romans passage, so I've shortened both of those so that we can review the 4 I mentioned and also get to a little bit more of each. So the 4 steps I named toward a compassionate life last week was to learn about compassion. What is it exactly? And the second step is to look at our own lives. Where do we need work with living compassionately in our families, our communities, our workplaces? And how can we have gentle conversations about how we can move toward compassion? The third step is have compassion for yourself, because Jesus said, "Love others as you love yourself." Do you have compassion for yourself? And the fourth step I talked about last week was empathy, that we can imagine walking in someone else's shoes. Imagine living with their struggles. Make room by listening compassionately, and in listening, you hear them into speech. So those are the first 4. Learn about compassion, look at our own lives, have compassion for ourselves, and have empathy. Step 5 in moving toward a compassionate life is mindfulness. So being present and aware in the moment of what is here and now, inviting our minds to not run into the future with worry or dwell in the past in regret. Has worry ever been productive in your life overall? I would say it hasn't been for me. I can be cautious and I can make good choices about the future. I can examine what I've done in the past, but worry doesn't really help me. And regret, once. That can help me once. But to live in either worry or regret is not being mindful in the present. And so planning is good. Writing down plans is even better because then it gets it out of the hamster wheel in the mind and onto paper. So if you stop the mind from running future and running past, then you can feel yourself sitting, standing, lying down, wherever you are. You can be in the present moment to be aware of your body and space. Can you name one thing in the present moment? That's a good way. One thing you're grateful for, one thing that's real in the present moment. Those are ways to be in the present moment. And if you have thoughts and they run round and round, then it's showing that you're attached to it and you either like it or dislike the thought. And no matter what it is, the judging of that thought will make you unsatisfied. And then you look for the next one. Or you can get attached to a thought and want to run it over and over and over again to hold tightly to it. And that doesn't really stop either. And so you can breathe and be in the moment. That's the 5th step of living toward a compassionate life, to become aware of life in the senses. What do you see, hear, and feel? Now, the 6th step is to take action. I love that we've gotten all the way to the 6th step, to the middle of the 12 steps, in order to say, take action. Make a resolution to act once and every day in accordance with the positive aspect of the golden rule. So treat others as you wish to be treated yourself. Look for an opportunity to create spots of time in somebody's life where you are treating them the way you would like to be treated. And Karen Armstrong also says, resolve each day to fulfill the negative version of the golden rule. Do not do with others what you do not want them to do to you. So a hurtful word or action, you can just refrain from doing the hurtful thing. This hurts when I just think about it. So once a day, at least once a day, but start with once. Do the thing you would like others to do for you or with you. Refrain from doing the negative thing that you would like them to refrain from doing with you. And then Karen Armstrong, she doesn't leave it alone there. She says, at some point, you will want to do what some consider to be called the platinum rule, which is where you look for others. You look for ways to treat others as they would like to be treated with heightened sensitivity to how they're different from you. That hurts too. So not only treat others as you would like to be treated, refrain from treating others the way you don't want to be treated, and also consider how are they different from you and how would they like to be treated. That's the platinum rule as opposed to the golden rule. So I'm going to stop there because that is enough. And then I'm going to return to review the 6 next week and then also to move on, hopefully the 7 and 8. It gets harder when we're doing more review, but I need it. I need the review. So before I go on, I'm going to read again from Romans 12. Let love be genuine. Hold fast to what is good. Love one another with mutual affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. Be patient in suffering. Persevere in prayer. Extend hospitality to strangers. Bless those who are mean to you. Bless and do not curse them. Live in harmony with one another. Ugh. Now I'm just going to run through the 6 steps that I've talked about already. Learn what compassion is. 1. Look at our own lives and where we can improve. 2. Extend compassion to yourself. 3. 4 is empathy. 5 is mindfulness. And 6 is to take action. So that's enough for this week. May God bless us in being considerate with others, being considerate of how we can treat them the way we'd like to be treated, to avoid things we don't want to have happen to us, and also to consider how they're different. So may God bless us in the work. Amen.